This program is brought to you by the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. This is NDDC Today.
Good evening. Nice to have you join us. There is hardly any week that's passed without something new happening in the Niger Delta, especially from the NDDC to be precise, since its inception. The most talked about event of the region now is the investigative hearing of the alleged financial probe going on of the NDDC by both houses of the National Assembly. The hearing, many have said, is a clear attestation of the separation of powers in action in the presidential system of government in Nigeria. The exercise, they say, will further strengthen the Commission's resolve in going forward for a better service delivery. How true this can be, only time, they say, will tell. Coalition of youth and women groups in the Niger Delta tells the National Assembly to allow the NDDC to function in spite of a series of probe and forensic audits that are ongoing. These and many more when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. The House of Representatives Committee on NDDC has concluded the public hearing on allegations of financial impropriety leveled against the NDDC brought before them in Abuja. The Interim Management Committee of the NDDC, led by its Acting Managing Director, Professor Oke, and the Supervising Minister of the NDDC, Senator Godswill Akpabio, appeared before the Honorable Olubunmi Tunde Ojo-led committee last week to clear allegations of alleged financial malfeasance against the Commission. Although people are highlighting the health difficulties of the acting managing director at the presentation, but he had actually made significant contribution before the health incident, as you will hear from this report.
Monday, the 20th of July 2020 was the D-Day for the House of Representatives Committee on NDDC for the probe of the alleged financial misdealings by the Niger Delta Development Commission Interim Management Committee, IMC. Leading the delegation of the Commission's management before the Honorable Olubunmi Tunde Ojo Committee for the investigative hearing was the Acting Managing Director of the Commission, Professor Oke. The committee commenced the day's proceedings with the chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on NDDC, Honorable Olubunmi Tunde Ojo's speech, where he gave reasons why he should be allowed to excuse himself from being the presiding chairman over the investigative hearing.
For the sake for Nigerians to know, I'm not on a mission of vengeance. I wish to humbly appeal to my colleagues to recuse me from presiding over this particular meeting. I hope this will give all parties opportunity to present their facts.
While the chairman took his leave, the mantle to carry on with the chairmanship of the hearing rested on his deputy, Honorable Thomas Erietomi, Delta South. Honorable Erietomi set the tone for the business of the day.
We are here to do justice to the issue we have at hand. This is an investigation panel. It's not a probe. Nobody's been probed here.
First to be called to answer most of the allegations leveled against the IMC was the Acting Managing Director of the NDDC, Professor Oke. Before proceeding with his answers, Professor Ponde tendered his apologies before the committee on the reasons that led to his walkout on the committee during the day first slated for hearing into the allegations against the IMC.
We want to regret the events of the previous week and just promise that it will not happen second time.
Professor Oke went further to disclose that, contrary to notions that he oversaw the expenditure of the sum of 51.1 billion naira from February to date, he explained that 38.6 billion naira out of the said amount was spent on capital expenditure, while the sum of 20.5 billion naira was expended on recurrent expenditure during the period.
Out of the 59.1 billion, it's also verifiable that 38.6 billion was spent on capital projects.
The committee sought for clarifications on the payment of student scholarship, the forensic audit of the commission, the NDDC headquarters building, and other expenditures.
We didn't give scholarships, but we had the report that myself and Dr. Cairo, that we paid ourselves scholarships. And the basic truth is that we were processing these scholarships for these students before the late EDFA died. And just as we were about to submit it, we had accusations that our children were in the scholarship list. This had to be brought back and scrutinized. What basically happened is that, like, the universities invited the NDDC to visit for verification and for graduation. They gave the letters and ESTA code was prepared. The preparation of the ESTA code started before I got to NDDC. I only approved it and it was paid on the 16th of April. Because you cannot pay somebody ESTA code the day the person is going to the airport. You have to get a visa procured. There is a long time. If the journey is not made, it is for us to return it. But somebody will come here and come and say, Cairo paid millions to this account for foreign scholarship. Please, we need to debunk that.
The acting presiding chairman of the committee, Honorable Thomas Ereyitomi, further sought clarification from the NDDC acting managing director on how much the NDDC had received since he assumed office as acting managing director of the NDDC.
From the time this interim management committee has been set up, how much has the interim management committee received?
We get about 6.4 billion monthly, which stopped in June. Well, we've not done anything since June. Then we have some payments from the oil companies, very little.
Professor Ponde, who had indicated his ill health when the IMC appeared before the Senate Ad Hoc Committee a few days earlier, had actually chosen to honor the House of Representatives Committee on NDDC's invitation against his doctor's advice. In the course of the House of Representatives proceedings, his health condition deteriorated, and in that confusion, the lawmakers were forced to adjourn proceedings abruptly. The committee reconvened after 30 minutes and took on the supervising minister of the Niger Delta Affairs, who also supervises the NDDC, Senator Godswill Akpabio, on a series of issues bordering on the allegations that were raised in the petition before the committee. The minister at first was asked questions that bordered on his role in the supervision, monitoring and control of the NDDC.
It is important that the minister should really be appointed as the chairman of the Presidential Monitoring Committee so that he can have access to the daily expenses of the NDDC or weekly expenses or monthly expenses. Otherwise, you will not even be properly briefed. Because it's my responsibility to brief you as the committee of the NDDC from time to time.
Another matter before the committee that needed the minister's clarification was the issue of whose responsibility it was to hire, negotiate the cost and pay for the forensic audit as ordered by Mr. President.
The Act clearly says that it is the agency that is paying that must do the procurement.
And also, if the Interim Management Committee IMC that runs the affairs of the Commission for months is known to the laws establishing the NDDC.
The President has the power to appoint somebody in substantive position according to the Constitution. He also has the power to do so in acting capacity.
The Honourable Minister was further questioned on his dealings with the NDDC in matters that relate to the Bureau of Public Procurements, when they expressed their worries over what some members considered as an interference from the Minister. Concluding the session with the Minister, The presiding committee chairman, Honorable Thomas Ereyetomi, thanked the minister for his cooperation with the committee and urged him to go and continue his service to Nigeria and the Niger Delta in particular.
President Muhammadu Buhari's order for a forensic audit of the Niger Delta Development Commission from its inception is ongoing. Meanwhile, youths and women groups in the region are worried over recent developments at the Commission. Their fears are not far-fetched, as you can see from this report.
A coalition of youths and women groups in the Niger Delta region has called on the National Assembly to allow the Interim Management Committee IMC of the Niger Delta Development Commission to focus on developing Nigeria's oil-rich region. The groups, led by the President of the Association for Non-Violent Peace Ambassadors, Mr. Otolo Emmanuel, stormed the NDDC headquarters in Port Harcourt in a solidarity rally. They accused those running away from the forensic probe of trying to destabilize the commission.
The Forum for Concerned Niger Delta Youth, Niger Delta Stakeholders Forum, and the Association of Women Unity in Nigeria, and all the youth groups that are here today, we have come in solidarity for the IMC of the NDDC, led by Professor Daniel Ponde. We are saying that it should be allowed to carry out the forensic audit, and anyone that is found wanted should face the full wrath of the law.
Yes, sir.
That be so.
That's so.
We are also calling on the National Assembly. Is the National Assembly looking at the will in our development? Because right now, the allegation that is going on is not benefiting us. All we want is development. That be so.
That's so.
Emmanuel said that the groups were satisfied with the performance of the IMC and would therefore ask President Muhammadu Buhari to confirm Professor Ponde as a substantive Chief Executive Officer in the next NDDC board. Also speaking, the President of the Association of Women for Unity in Nigeria, Evangelist Mrs. Mary Chijioke, said that the group was not happy with the crisis rocking the NDDC, accusing some powers that be of sowing seeds of discord in the region. She lamented that the NDDC had been destabilized in the last 1 year. In his own remarks, the President of the Joint National Association of Persons Living with Disabilities, Mr. Simon Bidie, said that Niger Delta would be better without distractions that hinder development. Another youth leader, Mr. Kingsley Maduka, said that Niger Delta stakeholders were worried by the numerous allegations, which he said were mainly sponsored by some members of the National Assembly.
Now the National Assembly is now disturbing the peace of the NDDC and making these things difficult for Professor Ponde. Please, we're using this opportunity to ask the National Assembly to focus on lawmaking and allow the NDDC to flourish. That is so.
Welcome back. The NDDC has continued with its ongoing distribution of COVID-19 medical palliatives to the police command across the states in the Niger Delta region. Recently, the Commission's acting executive director of projects, Dr. Cairo Ojubo, was at the Delta State Police Command, where he donated some protective medical items to the command. As the coronavirus pandemic continues to hit Nigeria and indeed the Niger Delta region hard, the NDDC, in its quest to assist the federal government in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic and to safeguard the lives of the several police officers stationed in the oil-producing areas of the community, has commenced the distribution of protective medical items to the Nigerian police force in the Niger Delta region. These items, which include face masks, thermometers, hand gloves, sanitizers, and intelligent disinfectant chambers, are meant to assist the police force in its operations to protect the lives and properties of the people in the oil-producing region of Nigeria. Donating these items to the Nigerian police in Asaba, Delta State recently, the NDDC Acting Executive Director of Projects, Dr. Cairo Ojubo, described the police as the best friend of the good man in the society.
This is an emergency period, and no money can be enough for emergency. And for the police to function confidently and comfortably, we have to come in. It's our mandate to come in, and it's within our area. As we speak, the palliatives are being distributed all across the Niger Delta, and it is not just here. It's not the police are also members of the society, and they also have to be protected, and we have to also contribute to their protection and to their convenience.
Receiving the items on behalf of Inspector General of Police Mohammed Adamu, the Delta State Police Commissioner Hafiz Mohammed Inuwa thanked the NDDC for coming to their aid with the protective equipment to assist the policemen and women in the discharge of their duties during this COVID-19 pandemic period. Earlier, the Acting Executive Director Projects paid a courtesy visit to the Asagba of Asaba, His Royal Majesty Obi Chike Edozian, in his palace in Asaba, Delta State, to intimate him about the happenings at the NDDC as it concerns the probe of the Commission by the National Assembly. Describing the Acting Executive Director Projects as a well-known fighter of corruption in the country, the traditional ruler thanked Dr. Ojugo for coming to brief him about the latest developments at the Niger Delta Development Commission.
One of the nations that is a well-known, dedicated fighter of corruption in Nigeria.
One of the mandates of the NDDC is to make agriculture another economic mainstay of the people in the Niger Delta, and the NDDC has for long keyed into this laudable idea in the Niger Delta. Recently, the Commission's rice mill in Alele Alumini in Rivers State came on stream. This was made possible through the partnership the NDDC entered with the Elephant Group of Company PLC 3 years ago. Here is the report.
The Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC has given a boost to agriculture in the Niger Delta region by reviving its 6 tons per hour rice mill at Elele Alimini in Emoha local government area of Rivers State. Speaking after inspecting the multi-million naira 6 tons per hour rice mill, the NDDC Acting Managing Director Professor Kemebradi Kumo Ponde said that the facility, which is leased to a private firm known as Elephant Group, would create more opportunities for youths in the Niger Delta region. The NDDC Chief Executive Officer, who was represented by the Commission's Director of Agriculture and Fisheries, Mr. Today Week, stated that the facility would also provide employment opportunities for youths in the region and create more opportunities for farmers to reap from their rice produce.
It is also expected that a minimum of 5,000 outgrower farmers will be supported through NDDC intervention to provide the needed input, which is the rice paddy for this mill. So it's going to be a new revival of the agricultural sector in the region, using rice value chain as an option.
The NDDC boss noted that the rice mill in Elele Alimini was constructed, completed, test run and technically commissioned in 2008. He remarked that because the Commission placed premium on partnership, it leased the mill to a private concern to run for sustainability and efficiency. The rice mill will serve not only the NDDC-supported farmers, but other rice growers across the region. If all these come together, rice production in the region will increase substantially because the region has a comparative advantage in rice production with several bodies of water and arable land.
Currently, we are having a farmers group and grower that we are doing presently. We have in Bayelsa, we have in Rivers State that we are currently working it. You know, in your state too. Even in Kebbi and Niger State.
The administration and station manager of the Elephant Group, Mr. Olabode Uju, explained that the resuscitated rice mill was an integrated milling facility comprising several sections, including a boiler, paraboiling, color sorting and bagging machines.
The Corporate Affairs Department of the NDDC in the last 1 week issued 2 very significant press releases on matters of public interest. Here they are.
In the last 1 week, a digital photograph of a wooden bridge allegedly constructed by the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC at Elebele in Ogbia local government area of Bayelsa State has been trending on social media. According to the post, the NDDC built the wooden bridge at a cost of 2.3 billion naira. This is fake news. The Commission hereby declares that there is no such project at Elebele. We have gone through our records for the past 18 years, and there is even no contact offer for the construction of a bridge in that said community. The Elebele community in 2018 sought the assistance of the Commission to rebuild the bridge which had collapsed. The proposal is still going through our system and is presently at the design stage. While awaiting NDDC's intervention, the community undertook a self-help project and built the wooden bridge. It has no NDDC input. NDDC has not paid out any money for it. In clear terms, this bridge has nothing to do with NDDC. We urge our stakeholders to regard the post as part of the propaganda tactics of those who want the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC scrapped, to deny the people of the region the benefit of infrastructural and economic development. The fake photograph is a follow-up to the false allegations and campaigns launched by these detractors of the Niger Delta Development Commission in news and social media space, and even at the recent public hearing by the National Assembly. These forces and their spokespersons are not from the Niger Delta. They are enemies of the region. The people of the Niger Delta have lined up behind President Muhammadu Buhari's ordered forensic audit exercise. That exercise will account for how the projects undertaken by NDDC were done and bring to account those who failed in their responsibilities to the people of the Niger Delta region. The Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, under its current leadership, remains committed to ensuring the Commission achieves its core mandate as the interventionist agency for the Niger Delta region and its people. For the avoidance of doubt, NDDC has some of the best engineers in Nigeria, and the quality of their work is world-class. Those in doubt should visit the 29-kilometer Ogbianembe Road in Bayelsa, which cuts through the swamps with 10 bridges and 99 culverts. The road, constructed in partnership with Shell Petroleum Development Company, SPDC, is ready for commissioning. The Acting Managing Director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Professor Kemebradi Kumo Ponde, collapsed at the public hearing by the House of Representatives Committee on NDDC. The Commission wishes to disclose that Professor Ponde has been ill for the past 2 weeks. His condition deteriorated and his doctors advised against attending the hearing. However, he ignored his doctor's advice because of the realization that his predecessors will use his absence at the hearing to soil his name and reputation. He thought he could make it through the hearing and take care of his health later. As it turned out, his doctors were right. Professor Ponde is now in a stable condition. Given this incident, the Commission wishes to make the following points. Number 1. Professor Ponde became Acting Managing Director of NDDC on February the 20th, 2020. By May the 5th, the two arms of the National Assembly ordered a probe of his tenure of exactly 74 days at the time, 2/3 of which was spent under COVID-19 lockdown conditions. Number 2. Professor Ponde, as the Managing Director of the Commission, has an official duty to answer for the activities of the Commission, like what happened between 2008 and 2012, which is the subject of another hearing based on the Auditor General's report for the period. Number 3. It would, however, be unfair to hold him personally liable for acts which took place when he was not head of the Commission. Number 4. When the two arms of the National Assembly called for a probe, it was over a missing 40 billion naira. The Commission took the rare step of publishing all payments made by it under Professor Ponde. No organization in Nigeria, public or private, has ever got to that level of transparency in our national history. Number 5. As this publication undermined the claims of its accusers, the subject of the public hearing changed to financial recklessness. While this might appear insignificant, it amounted to changing the goalposts to smear a clean man. While misappropriation of 40 billion naira is a matter demanding objective proof, the question of financial recklessness is one open to subjective judgment. Number 6. The Commission is delighted that Honorable Olubunmi Ojo, the chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on NDDC, has recused himself from the hearing. At the end of the day, everyone has to answer for his role in the misappropriation of the resources of the Commission. Number 7. It is this search for answers that led President Muhammadu Buhari, on the request of the 9 governors of the region, to institute a forensic audit to probe what happened to the resources of the Commission from 2001 to date. Number 8. The Professor Ponde-led IMC is committed to the success of that exercise. While we thought there will be a fight back by those who dip their hands into the cookie jar, we never expected this level of boldness or malevolent aggression as witnessed by accusers at hearing and their paid agents through all the media platforms. Finally, the Commission is participating at the hearing, even though it thinks that seeing to the conclusion of the forensic audit will serve the future of the Commission and the Niger Delta region more than the probe of 74 days of activities.
Well, from me and on behalf of the NDDC Today crew and the loving people of the Niger Delta, we wish the NDDC a speedy recovery from the barrage of attacks from those making the job of the NDDC difficult, so that the work of developing the Niger Delta can continue. That is the program for today. See you next week.